We're halfway through 2022, so you know what that means. We got to talk about who impressed us the most this year, who are our top artists of the year. And Reese, I also want to do our top artists, but who was your biggest disappointment so far in the year too? We'll do that after. But
Mhm.
I'm gonna start with my honorable mentions. We got two honorable mentions each. I'm gonna go with basically I could say he's pretty much a consensus choice. He's on everybody's list just about, and that's Conway the Machine. Um, he came with his album this year, God Don't Make Mistakes, which was a very good project. I didn't like it as much as I liked his projects the last couple of years, just a little bit, but um, he still came with it, man. MC wise, he isn't falling off. He's my honorable mention, and a little bit of a surprise. Little Dirt. I think he right now is my favorite trap artist slash mainstream artist. I think he does a good job of mixing street reality with more like the melodic street rap now that you see with like the Rod Waves of the world and the Roddy Riches. I think Moray does that type of stuff, and he really developed into a great artist overall. He's more of a singer more than a rapper and a drill artist, but I like his project. I think it was, and we'll talk about it. I think it was 88, 702 or something like that. I'll pull it up anyway. But Lil Durk really impressed me as an artist. I feel his energy as a street artist, even though he's in a traditional street MC. So those are my honorable mentions: Lil Durk and Conway the Machine.
All right, so my honorable mentions, because actually I didn't have any honorable mentions, and I'll explain that in a second. But I didn't have any honorable mentions until I went back and I revisited the list because a lot of the albums I kind of forgot about. To be not gonna lie to you, but my honorable mention, after I looked at the list and I said, okay, I had to swap one out for the other because I listened to both of the albums and I said, okay, this one is just a little better than that one. And my first honorable mention is Denzel Curry. Um,
Okay,
I think that
that's a good pick, man.
he did a great job. He did a great job on his album. I liked some of the songs on there. I thought it was pretty decent album. He didn't really go too over the top like he usually does, and I just thought it was a solid joint.
Yeah.
And my second honorable mention uh, is the guy who you just talked about, Lupe. Um,
Okay.
although I gave it a 7, I still think that it's a pretty good album for me, lyrically better than a lot of albums I heard this year. So I had to give it an honorable mention. I just had to give it an honorable mention. So I I, I thought it was okay.
I
So
could
those
roll
are
with
my
it.
two. You know what I mean?
Denzel Curry is a great pick. Remember how critical we were of him last year
Yeah,
on that
yeah,
project?
yeah.
That was just all over the place.
Oh my god.
He came a long way. I got some
Yeah.
things about him in our next segment, but that's a great pick, Denzel Curry. So, all right, so we're ready for the top five. You want to go? I'll do my five. You do your five, or you want to
We
go
do
that
one.
back?
We could just do one and one. So we go
All
one.
right,
I go one.
all
So
right, yeah, that's what I mean. I'll do my
yeah,
five. My number five. You go your number
yeah,
five.
yeah.
All right, so this is going to come as a bit of a surprise because he did not formally drop an album this year. But believe it or not, I think this man stepped his game up, even though in his absence, um, from an album where he dropped a banger of an album last year, one of the biggest projects last year. But I think he stepped his game up into being um, arguably the top artist in this game, and um, not a surprise to people, but I've just seen his growth over the last 3 years, and I'm amazed as to him stepping his game up. But I gotta go with J. Cole. Um, he had the two best verses this year on Benny the Butcher's Johnny P. Caddy, and on the single Bia song, the girl Bia song London. Best two verses of the year, hands down. And he also delivered on the Dreamville D-Day mixtape, or with the strongest verses and single songs off of that album as well. I think J. Cole, and which is we're gonna get to in future shows, is one of the best artists of this millennium. Really, he has. I think J. Cole took his game to another level. He took his game to a Hall of Fame level in that last 2 years, starting with his last couple of albums and the singles and verses. He is a complete artist and he's a hit maker now. I'm really impressed with J. Cole, even though it's a limited work this year, but he gets my number 5.
Mm. So my number 5 goes to this guy. I think that he put out a lot of projects over the past couple of years, and sometimes he comes out with 2 projects in a year. And I believe that he's not the best in this group to me anymore, but I believe that he's running neck and neck with this guy. So my pick is Conway the Machine. I think that's a number 5 for me. I think that if he keeps going at the level he's going, then he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in this game eventually. Because he's right now, and he's kind of on that borderline of being undeniable. You know what I'm saying? He's pushing that. He's pushing that Styles P level to me if he keeps going the way he's going. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely is.
So yeah, so that's my number 5. It's Conway the
And
Machine.
he did put out He put out two. Yeah, he did put out 2 projects in this year: the Big Ghost and
Yeah,
uh, if God don't make mistakes. So yeah,
yeah,
he's grinding, man. He definitely. My honorable mention, he definitely is top 5 worthy. So
yeah,
um, number 4. Um, well, this guy. This is, let's just say, this is a year like many comebacks, and we'll get to my biggest comeback later on. But Pusha T, he was his last album Daytona, which is borderline or arguably a classic. Um, Pusha T was what, 2018? I want to say it was.
yeah,
Yeah, 20. So 4-year hiatus, and people were kind of calling for him. He delivered, man, with It's Almost Dry. And the only reason he's not up higher is he really hasn't been on a whole lot of features and been active out there. He just put this album out, but he ain't skipped a beat. He's still arguably the greatest street rapper of the last, I don't know, 10 years or so. He's delivered. He stepped his game. He's always kept his game up. He did not fall off from where he was at Daytona level. So he goes to my number 4. He would be higher. I just didn't see as much of him being active. It's kind of hypocritical. I like J. Cole was probably the least active, but he made my number 5. This
yeah,
guy wasn't so much active, but I
yeah.
knocked him down to number 4 because of it. But still, he's definitely a top 5 MC. I gotta go Pusha T.
All right, so my next pick um is from the same camp as the other guy. Um, I think that he, to me, he has an aura about him that reminds me of Jada Kiss, and I think that he is on his way to be in that conversation eventually. with the greats, or even in the top 10 of these artists. You know what I'm saying? And that's Benny the Butcher. I think that for me, Benny the Butcher's last project, Tan and Talk, was pretty good. That was a really good album. Um, I listened to it the other day, and I said, "This is a good album." You know what I'm saying? Not my favorite, but it's one of those albums I think that is gonna be around for a little while. So my third is Benny the Butcher.
I got you. And you know what? Why not? That's my number three pick. Well, actually, my number three. Let me think about that for a minute. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah. Let's go with Benny the Butcher. With my number three pick. Because uh, Tanner Talk Three is one of my top projects of the year. Um, However, the guy ahead of him been grinding a little bit harder than him. I think Benny the Butcher is the best street artist in the game right now. Even though Pusha T has been the last several years, it's kind of been a battle with him and Benny the Butcher. But Benny the Butcher's been putting out that work consistently, and he's always shining on verses. He's always, if he's not the best, he's the next best guy. You remember verses from him. You know what I mean? He's got the quotables now. He's got more of a mainstream swag to him now that I'm really feeling. And he's got to be my number three MC in the game right now, my number three rap artist. And he's more versatile than he was now, doing songs with Rick Ross, doing songs even though it's unreleased with J. Cole, not J. Cole. Well, yeah, J. Cole,
Yeah,
because J. Cole featured on his album,
yeah,
but also doing songs with Drake even though it's unreleased. This guy, I mean, he hasn't slipped up from 2018 from Tana Talk 2, and there's no letting up with Tana Talk 4. I'm sorry, Tana Talk 3 in 2018, and now Tana Talk 4. So he's got to be my number three artist in the game.
yeah. I definitely think that Benny has a thing with this Tan Talk. I think he should stick with it, and make it like a serious series. You know what I mean? So I think he got a thing. So my number three uh is probably the most, to me, he is the most conceptual street rapper I ever heard in my life. I don't think that nobody in the rap game paints pictures the way he does. Abstract art, not like straight art. I'm just gonna say abstract art. And Pusha T has been doing this for a minute, and I put him at my number three this year. I think that he came and he saw it, he delivered. You know what I'm saying? The album is pretty decent. You know what I mean? I like the album a lot. So he's my number three, Pusha T.
Yep, it looks like we got the same list. It believe it or not, man, it looks like we're gonna have the same number two, number one. I wouldn't be surprised because
Yeah.
number two, I got to go. And the only reason why I put this man over Benny the Butcher is he's been grinding a little bit harder. And last year I think he put out, I don't know, 4 or 5 projects. This year he came back with one of the top lyrical projects of the year. I said it and I said it on the page. I think he's the best lyricist in the game going right now, with Royce kind of on a hiatus. Eminem taking some miles off of his fastball, not being the M we used to know lyrically. And I got to go with Ransom. Ransom's the best lyricist in the game today. I know people were looking at me and had some comments in the group to say about it. I know somebody mentioned Black Thought and all these other guys. No, this guy impressed me, man. Uh, he he's shining on everything he's doing now, and he's going on records with the best lyricist of the game too. I mean, he shined last year with Lloyd Banks. He was on with the Shea Noir this year on a strong project there. And he has a way of making relatable street rap and street bars. I know it's very close with him, Pusha T, and Benny the Butcher. They got a little battle going on, and it's like three different forms of street rap.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy lyrically is the best out of them right now. I think. I would, now I think about it, they all need to get on the song together.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
three of them need to get on the song together.
yeah.
I know. I think Ransom did some things with Benny the Butcher, but they need to get on a song together. That'd be great. But he's my number two guy, and I gotta give him some kudos because he's been grinding for that spot for a while now. So he's my number two.
So my number two is the same exact pick as yours. Um, I think you know how I feel about Ransom. I think Ransom has. I think he has his series is bulletproof. The director's cut series is every time I listen to it, it's like I never heard it before. It's so amazing to me. Like the first, the second, all the projects he put out leaves a lasting impression on me. Every one of them he put out left an impression on me. Like, oh man, like I want more. I want more. I want more. And I think that uh, being a lyricist like him is just that's a gift. That's not something that you can learn. I mean, that's something that you inherited or something you got it from somewhere. But I believe that he just has this gift with putting words together. Because with him, to me, he can say something that means five different things. You know what I'm saying? And that's the edge I think he has over Benny and over Pusha is he can say things that would mean more. And then on top of that, he just doesn't do street rap. He does other type of rap too. He does
That's
conscious rap.
stuff, yeah.
He's storyteller. He does all this. He
That's
does
what I say.
lessons. Yeah. He does a lot of
Relate,
relatable stuff. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like what he did with the Grim Reaper song. He was saying the Grim Reaper
yeah.
was you know what I'm saying, when the Grim Reaper was was acting like he was his friend and the whole time he was setting him up to kill him. Then he did a song about Karma. She was a female, and Karma is chasing him through life, and he's trying to get away with it. And he finally had his wife and his kids, and Karma had to
Wise.
leave him alone. Stuff like that to me is what puts you in legendary status. You know what I'm saying? So I had to give him that. You know what I'm saying? I had to give Ransom that push. Ransom dropped. I think he dropped one project this year, but last year he dropped five. And the year
Yeah,
before that, he dropped five.
yeah. So
so, so he
I,
dropped
I
one
think
this year. I think he got
yeah.
another one coming. Oh, he got a song with Freddie Gibbs. He just dropped. I just listened to it
Oh,
today.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, yeah, it's on his page. I just listened to it
I
today.
got to check that out.
Yeah,
Because I'm a Gibbs guy, so
yeah,
I think it's like we're both saying the same thing. I think he's the best conceptual lyricist going right now, and he's in an age where so much the technical lyrics, like the Razzcast, the Lupes of the world, um, you know, those guys aren't what are in you know are going right now. You kind of gotta make it relatable. You gotta relate these stories to something. I hate to use the words dumb it down,
mm-hmm.
but you kind of gotta make it where the average dude who ain't in the streets can visualize it and understand it. And the cats that ain't outside on the block like that
Yeah,
can really get with it. And that's why I love Ransom and what he's done conceptually. And I think that's his number one gift. So yeah,
yeah,
both are number two, Ransom. So number one, and obviously, because I know you're gonna pick him, but
yeah,
we're gonna go with number one. And the reason why this guy impressed me is I was down on him really since really after a little bit after To Pimp a Butterfly. I think I was down on him since Untitled Unmastered, but I I honestly thought in the back of my head that I don't think I didn't think Kendrick could capture the magic he had back in the mid 2010s with the time off. Cause I mean, you want to talk about a hiatus. Pusha T took a hiatus, but he did features. Kendrick did nothing. I mean, you didn't hear Kendrick on. You thought he really disappeared, literally, and people thought he was going to retire. He came back with the best project of the year, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I like this Kendrick Lamar the best because he's got a nice vibe to him now. He's still got the lyrical. I mean, he's still one of the top 5 lyricists in the game. Still, he brings a little bit of wisdom, and he's still talking about very very socially conscious themes that a lot of rappers are scared to go to. We're gonna talk about it in our next segment, but he went there. You know what I mean? He took risks. He took risks song wise, lyrics wise, and he came out with a monster project. He never skipped a beat. Kendrick Lamar, he's my number one of the year, and he cut back on a lot of the other stuff. The things I was critical of him about, the high pitched noises and the over animated flows and what I used to call like weirdo stuff. There's none of that no more. He's coming with slick shit now. He's coming with like slick bars here and there. I never saw this side of Kendrick, and he really impressed me. So I gotta go with him as my number one artist of 2020 2022.
All right, so you already know my pick is the same as yours, Kendrick.
Yeah,
I have a lot to say about Kendrick Lamar. I think that Kendrick Lamar right now, to most people, especially young people that love him, he's the goat to them. He's the guy that he's like how would I say this? He's like the perfect artist when it comes to anything when it comes to hip hop to most people now. If you look at his catalog, he has done everything from he ranged from every spectrum. You can fit him in every category: street rap, conscious rap, any type of rap, weird rap, turn up, anything you want to go. He has it all, and it's not that he has it all. He has it all, and he's doing it at an extreme high level. And it's like, okay, well, you doing turn up. Okay, let me drop damn and see and let you know that I can do that, and it's gonna be up here. I could do whatever. I think that he has positioned himself to be for people. Like I watched his performance that he did, and he had the crown of thorns on his head. He's going around with the crown of thorns on his head. Like everywhere he goes, he has the thorn. That's another thing that he does. He stays in character the whole time. Kung Fu Kenny to K Dot to all of them. I think now he's presenting himself as I'm a godlike figure. You know what I'm saying? Not to say like I'm God, but I'm a godlike figure. I am in the image. I'm made in the image of God, and I think people taking that in. Some people take that very literal. You know what I'm saying? So I think Kendrick Lamar to me he's broke the barriers of hip hop. He went beyond hip hop. He's not just a hip hop artist. And I think a lot of hip hop artists get stuck in the same loop that they, like you said, socially they are so afraid to talk about topics because they don't want to make people uncomfortable. Kendrick Lamar says, you know what? I don't care about none of that because ultimately I'm paid. I got a Pulitzer Prize. I got many Grammys. I can literally rap about whatever I want to rap about. And that's what he did. And I think a lot of artists that get to his that reaches that level, they're still afraid. Even to this day, even Jay-Z to me, or they're still afraid to say certain things because they believe that it might hurt their brand. I think Kendrick Lamar has relinquished his brand. He did that on Control when he said no more designer shit and all that shit. I think he
yeah,
relinquished his brand a long time ago. So I think at this point, you know what I mean, people looking at that man as somebody totally different than just a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So Kendrick Lamar is my number one pick.
yeah. So our list pretty much the same. We got the same number one and two, a little different with three and four. Our fives are different,
Yeah.
but a great list overall, man. Definitely, and we got a lot. of other artists to talk about down the stretch in the second half. But now that we're on it, and look, there were a lot of other guys that could be on this list. Like you mentioned, Denzel Curry. He impressed me. The girl Shay Noir, she impressed me as well. Even Lotto, as crazy as it seems, she did a good job this year. This has been a very good year in hip hop, man. Very good year in hip hop. But I gotta ask, who disappointed you the most in 2022 so far?
All right, so this guy is the opposite. I'll consider him the opposite of Kendrick. They're on, to me, they're on the same level,
Yeah,
but I believe at this point he's he's digressing while Kendrick is progressing. If that
yeah,
makes sense.
uh-huh.
I think that he's, again, he to me is still stuck in this endless loop of just trying to please people at this point. And my biggest disappointment of this year is Drake. And the
Wow.
reason why he's my biggest disappointment, because Drake literally can be the greatest rapper of all time if he wanted to. To me, if Drake would just do a solid project where he's, because I can see, you ever seen something where you say, listen, I know this motherfucker has the potential to just take off like how Kendrick
Yeah,
did. I believe that he can do that too. I believe he can do all that. But I think that at this point, it's not about that. In his mind, it's not about that. You know what I'm saying? And even if people say, well, I have to take that away from him then, because to me, I don't care if you say, well, my numbers are the best. To me, the numbers don't make you the best. You know what I'm saying? Numbers don't make you the best. There's a lot of artists that never won awards that are way better than other artists to me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care about the numbers. I care about the content. And you're constantly giving me the same stuff you done gave me for 9 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm sick of it because I know your potential. So it's more saddening to me because I just think that Drake is such a fucking great artist, man. And it's just like, come on, dog, what are you doing? It's like
you know what?
that's why I'm so
Yeah,
disappointed,
I,
man.
I would. This is hard for me because I wasn't even gonna go with Drake. I was gonna go with Big Crit. After Digital Roses Must Die, but you know what? I'm with you, man. Drake, what are you doing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Drake, what are you? Because Crit, at least Crit, he'll take a risk here and there. I'll give him credit on that. Drake, you say you're taking a risk, but we know you're not.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, you think? See, this is the thing about Drake. Drake thinks that hip hop listeners are dumb, and for a good portion of them, they are. But he doesn't realize, like, guys like us and guys that are hip hop heads and guys that have been around this shit for a long time,
yeah,
you can't fool us.
yeah,
It's like, bro, you've done the whole dance Afro beats thing
yeah, yeah,
before. You did it in 2011 with Rihanna. You've done it just about on every album. You've done the reggae thing, the fake Jamaican accent thing. You
yeah,
can't fool us anymore, Drake.
yeah, yeah,
It's like, listen, if you don't watch out, a lot of these hip hop artists are just gonna leave you in the dust.
yeah.
And the man I had on my number 5 list, he's getting ready to pass you if he hasn't passed you already, dog. You
Mm-hmm.
better watch out, man, because that project was just a waste of time, man.
Yeah, it
That's
was.
a waste of time.
He's out there copping pleas too. Oh well, if you don't understand it, that's your fault. Like, no, dog, no, no.
No,
I I
you
want to say
can't.
something about Big Crit. Now, I would say that I wasn't disappointed. You know, I like Digital Roses. I wasn't disappointed by the album at all.
Yeah,
Here's the thing about I think about Big Crit. That's probably my least favorite project he ever did. But at least if you look at his projects before that, they're good. You know what I'm saying? Like his
oh yeah,
projects before that, they're pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I think that he's slept on. But I could understand him doing an album like that. You know what I'm saying? I can understand him doing an album like that. I just think it didn't hit like everybody said it didn't. Well, everybody wanted it to hit. It didn't hit. For me, I like Crit singing. So it's a little bit different for me, but I could understand why people didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't think that he's is disappointing to me, but I don't put Drake and Crit in that same class. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that Drake has the ability. He's kind of like, at this point, you don't need to make albums like that no more. You literally can make albums where they are really pretty good. Like, and I don't think that he has made anything that was pretty good for the last, I don't know, 3, 4 albums.
Man. He makes excuses, and he hasn't put out a great project, I think, since or I'm not gonna say great, but like a top 5 album of the year project
Yeah.
since Nothing Was the Same, and that was 2013. It's like the clock's on you, dog. For someone of your caliber, Drake needs to step his game up. He just has to. I mean, he's got
He
to.
has been making, and since that album you're talking about, Drake has been making a lot of forgettable music of late.
Yep, exactly.
Because before he was making hits and they were around for a while. Because if Drake was to play some of his hits, it wouldn't be these. It wouldn't be these songs. It would be from the past. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
you got Drake from like '09 to about '13, '12. He was cutting edge because nobody was coming with that combination of bars and melodies and
Mm,
singing.
yeah, yeah,
And he was like the new wave. But once everybody caught up to that wave with the
yeah,
melody, all of
yeah,
that, and started doing different things with it,
yeah,
all of a sudden now Drake is just that guy trying to hang on to different waves now,
yeah,
whether it's
yeah, yeah.
Thug or
You gotta chill.
Future, whoever.
You
So
gotta chill. So
yeah. So we both got Drake as our biggest disappointment of 2022 so far. So with that, stay tuned. We're gonna be back in about 10 minutes or so. We're gonna get to our best albums of 2022. So check this out. We're gonna upload this on YouTube. Check us out, Shadow Code Radio, and we'll be back in a few. All right, peace.